Today, we are walking through the recruitment mitigation plan and what supervisors need to know when a position remains vacant for 90 consecutive days. The goal of this training is not to add more paperwork to the hiring process. The goal is to create a clear decision point when recruitment has stalled. By the end of this training, supervisors should understand what triggers the plan, what information HR will need, and how we work together to adjust the recruitment strategy before the vacancy becomes the norm. Before we dive into the specifics of the Day 90 trigger, it is important to remember why filling these vacancies matters. The Florida Department of Health's mission is to protect, promote, and improve the health of all people in Florida through integrated state, county, and community efforts. Our vision is to be the healthiest state in the nation. We cannot achieve that mission or vision if our teams are understaffed and stretched thin. The recruitment mitigation plan is ultimately designed to help us secure the qualified public health practitioners we need to continue serving Orange County effectively. Our approach to the recruitment mitigation plan is directly rooted in the Florida Department of Health's core, I care, values. When a position is hard to fill, we must lean on innovation to find creative sourcing solutions instead of doing the same thing twice. We rely on close collaboration between supervisors and HR to diagnose barriers and solve problems together. Accountability and responsiveness mean we act with integrity, moving quickly to engage candidates and support our teams who are feeling the operational strain. Ultimately, this process drives excellence by continuously improving our hiring strategies to support our public health mission. We will move through this training in 4 parts. First, we will define the Day 90 trigger. Second, we will look at how supervisors and HR diagnose the barriers that may be slowing recruitment. Third, we will review the adjustments that may be considered, including outreach, job posting language, compensation, classification, and qualifications. Finally, we will walk through the timeline so supervisors know what happens next and what they are expected to provide. When a position stays vacant, the impact usually shows up in 3 ways. First, the workload shifts to the current staff. That can create burnout, overtime concerns, or reduced capacity. Second, service gaps may appear because program operations slow down or staff have less flexibility to meet community needs. Third, a market disconnect can become obvious. If qualified candidates are not applying or are not accepting offers, the posting, salary, classification, or requirements may no longer match the market. The plan is designed to help us stop treating a stalled vacancy as routine and start diagnosing what needs to change. The key trigger is simple. When a position remains vacant for 90 consecutive days, it reaches the mitigation threshold. At that point, the formal mitigation process begins within 5 business days. This is not meant to label the recruitment as a failure. It is a strategy checkpoint. Day 90 tells us the normal recruitment approach has not worked well enough and that it is time to look at barriers in a more structured way. The focus shifts from waiting for the right applicant to identifying what may be preventing qualified applicants from applying, passing screening, interviewing, or accepting the role. HR manages the process, reviews recruitment history, works through the appropriate systems, and helps ensure compliance. Supervisors provide the position-level context that HR cannot fully see from the posting alone. That context includes whether the job description reflects the actual day-to-day work, whether applicants are qualified, what barriers are showing up during screening or interviews, and how the vacancy is affecting operations. The stronger the supervisor feedback, the stronger the mitigation plan. This process works best when HR brings the process knowledge, and the supervisor brings the operational reality. The plan moves through 3 phases. Phase 1 is analysis, from days 91 to 95. This is where HR and the supervisor diagnose the barriers blocking recruitment. Phase 2 is revision, from days 96 to 105. This is where the strategy is adjusted, which may include changes to posting language, salary reviews, classification reviews, or qualification alignments. Phase 3 is relaunch, beginning on day 106 and beyond. This is where the position returns to the market with a stronger, multi-pronged outreach approach. The important point is that the plan creates movement. It gives supervisors and HR a shared roadmap for what happens after day 90. Phase 1 is about identifying what is blocking recruitment. HR initiates the hiring manager survey and reviews the recruitment history. The goal is to understand whether the issue is applicant volume, applicant quality, compensation, qualifications, classification, messaging, or some combination of these factors. Supervisors should be ready to answer practical questions. Are the right candidates seeing the post? Are candidates failing screening? Are candidates declining because of salary or flexibility? Is the job description clear? This phase works best when supervisors provide honest, specific feedback rather than general statements like, "The position is hard to fill." This slide shows where recruitment can stall. A position may have a wide pool of potential candidates, but the funnel can narrow quickly. Poor outreach may mean the right people never see the posting. Vague messaging may cause candidates to ignore the role. Non-competitive pay can lead candidates to decline or never apply. Rigid qualifications may screen out people who could perform the work with equivalent experience. The purpose of the mitigation process is to locate the clog. Once we know where the process is breaking down, we can make a targeted adjustment rather than guess. After analysis, the process moves into revision. During this phase, HR and leadership may update job postings, review salary or incentive options, and align qualifications to the actual work. Supervisors play an important role here because many revisions require quick confirmation. For example, HR may need the supervisor to confirm duties, clarify required skills, review revised posting language, or provide operational justification for a salary or classification review. Timely supervisor response helps keep the relaunch moving. If feedback is delayed, the position may lose momentum. This slide focuses on two areas of adjustment: outreach and messaging. On the outreach side, the plan moves away from relying only on standard postings. The mitigation approach may include targeted public health job boards, LinkedIn, Indeed, academic partners such as UCF, and internship to hire pipelines where appropriate. On the messaging side, the plan calls for more human-centered job language. Candidates should understand what the role does, why it matters, and how it supports the public health mission. A posting that lists only technical duties may not attract the right candidate pool. The next adjustment area is compensation and qualifications. The plan allows HR to review local wage competitiveness and consider authorized options such as appointment above minimum, competitive area differential, or other approved pay additives when appropriate. The plan also emphasizes salary transparency and flexibility where available. On qualifications, the goal is to remove unnecessary barriers. That does not mean lowering standards. It means ensuring the minimum qualifications match the actual work and do not screen out qualified candidates with equivalent experience or transferable skills. This slide gives supervisors a simple way to think through qualifications. Ask 4 questions. What must the person know on day 1? What can be effectively trained on the job? What is strictly required by policy or law? What is merely preferred or traditional? These questions help separate true requirements from habits that may have been copied from older postings. The point is not to weaken the position. The point is to make sure the posting is accurate, defensible, and open to qualified candidates who can do the work. Phase 3 is the relaunch. At this stage, the position returns to the market with a stronger approach. That may include expanded outreach, updated posting language, compensation or classification adjustments when approved, and better candidate messaging. The plan also calls for a multi-pronged outreach campaign that highlights current staff and the workplace culture. Supervisor engagement remains important after the relaunch. If the updated approach still isn't attracting qualified candidates, HR and the supervisor should continue to assess the situation rather than wait passively. This prep board summarizes what supervisors should gather before or during the mitigation process. First, gather accurate day-to-day job duties so the posting reflects the actual work. Second, gather specific feedback about applicant quality or screening concerns. Third, document operational impact, such as workload, service delays, or reduced coverage. Fourth, identify any must-have qualifications compared with preferred qualifications. Fifth, share niche professional networks or contacts that may help HR reach the right audience. The more prepared the supervisor is, the easier it is to move from discussion to action. The mitigation process is not an HR paperwork drill. It is a collaborative intervention. Phase 1 requires analysis and collaboration to diagnose the vacancy. Phase 2 requires revision and innovation to adjust the strategy. Phase 3 requires relaunch and follow-through to test the improved approach in the market. The supervisor and HR each have a role in every phase. HR brings knowledge of the recruitment process, policy awareness, and system support. Supervisors bring the operational context, job knowledge, and insight into what the program actually needs. The mitigation process is not an HR paperwork drill. It is a collaborative intervention. Phase 1 requires analysis and collaboration to diagnose the vacancy. Phase 2 requires revision and innovation to adjust the strategy. Phase 3 requires relaunch and follow-through to test the improved approach in the market. The supervisor and HR each have a role in every phase. HR brings knowledge of the recruitment process, policy awareness, and system support. Supervisors bring the operational context, job knowledge, and insight into what the program actually needs. Close the window and return to train.